Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode of the D-Lew Podcast is brought to you by Goalie Nutrition. As someone who's used Goalie for quite some time, I can tell you that they're not only very good, but they're very beneficial. My favorite are the Super Green Gummies. The Super Green Gummies are uniquely crafted with a spectrum of essential nutrients such as vitamins A, B12, folic acid, and thiamine. It supports a healthy liver function, healthy nervous and immune system, digestive health, a boost to your metabolism, and overall health and well-being. There are no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or colors from artificial sources. They're vegan-friendly, gluten-free, and gelatin-free. All loyal listeners of the D-Lew Podcast get a special 10% discount at checkout. Go to goalie.com, use promo code DLEW. That's goalie.com, use promo code DLEW. This podcast is a Believe Network and Siete production. Welcome to another edition of the D-Lew Podcast, brought to you by Believe Network. I'm your host, Derrick T. Lewis. I hope your week is treating you great. You know, last week and into the weekend was pretty busy for me. Last Wednesday, I went to AEW Dynamite and AEW Rampage tapings in Philadelphia, and this is only my second event basically that I went to this year as a fan. I just wanted to go. I got floor seats, and huge shout out to Gabby Ortiz, who wrestled a dark match before AEW went on the air. She was in a 8 women's tag match and really got some shine. So huge kudos to Gabby, and it's amazing to follow a lot of my friends' journeys that I've met in pro wrestling and seeing what they're doing, you know, in some of the big companies they've been working for. And this is not her first rodeo with AEW, and I'm hoping that she gets signed sooner than later because she's extremely, extremely good at what she does. But a couple of surprises. Number one, Ric Flair shows up in AEW. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it because the owner of AEW, Tony Khan, said he had a surprise for Sting, because Sting did announce that he was going to be retiring at AEW's Revolution next February. And in that surprise, no one knew he was talking about. And I thought honestly that he was going to be the first inductee into the AEW Hall of Fame. But I'm thinking AEW is only 4 years old. I didn't think that was a possibility. But then again, you never really know. And all of a sudden, you hear that infamous theme song from Ric Flair, and I could not believe it. And it was really cool to see Flair in AEW. I believe he mentioned something, in an interview that he was going to be with AEW, I think up until Sting's retirement match. So I think he's going to be there managing Sting and that type of thing, being of their history that they had together. But it was cool to watch Rob Van Dam wrestle. He's doing a few spots with AEW, and of course, let's talk about the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada from New Japan Pro Wrestling on AEW Dynamite. He teamed up with Orange Cassidy, and as they took on Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli in the main event. Hard hitting match. I really enjoyed it, and this is the first time I've ever seen Okada wrestle live in person, so this is pretty cool to experience. And then Saturday, yours truly was the ring announcer for the wedding for Meredith and Anton out in Philly. And so, see, I had a double shot in Philly for wrestling, and I actually was just having fun. But no, Meredith had asked me over a year ago at her engagement party. She said, "Hey, I want you to be the ring announcer for my wedding." And I was like, "Really?" And I was very surprised. And for someone to believe in my talents that much to make their wedding reception, like a wrestling event. And I did my absolute best to create that an experience for everyone in attendance. So huge kudos and congratulations to the newlyweds, Anton and Meredith, and may God bless your union forever and ever. But this week's episode, I have a very talented recording artist, Lamar Tyree, and we talk about his early days, growing up in North Jersey, idolizing his dad, who's an incredible drummer who's been around the block for so many years in the music industry. How he and his brother have this really tight bond and really going at this music thing together. And we talk about so many things, including his latest album, My Name Is Lamar Tyree. So let's not wait any longer. My interview with Lamar Tyree starts right now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce recording artist all the way from New Jersey. I've known this dude about 4 years, and when you talk about raw talent, when you talk about musicianship that's just coming through his ears, I'm telling you, by the end of this interview, you're going to want to check out his catalog. It's the one and only Lamar Tyree. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on here, man.
Like I said, we've been wanting to do this for a while. Once our schedules lined up and everything, we definitely agreed. You definitely agreed to come on to the show. As I alluded to just a few seconds ago, you grew up in North Jersey, just like me. So talk about life growing up in New Jersey.
Oh man, life was amazing. Growing up in Jersey, I started off, music, singing in church choir, singing in North New Jersey. At my family's church, and just been, just each and every day, it was a life lesson, just learning different things growing up. My father was a musician. My grandfather and grandmother had a band in New Jersey. And they were just rocking out for a long time. So I was just really studying them, from Plainfield, New Jersey, P-Funk, New Jersey, and I have family in North New Jersey, all over Jersey, man. So that's my roots. North Jersey is definitely my area.
Okay. So you talked about your family, and we're going to talk about in just a few moments. So as far as major recording artists are concerned, who was the first major recording artist that you were exposed to and just said, oh,
that is tough, but I think Earth, Wind & Fire. I grew up on Earth, Wind & Fire. My dad used to play with a lot of bands, and they used to cover a lot of Earth, Wind & Fire as well. Definitely a lot of Stevie Wonder, James Brown, artists like that.
Philip Bailey's my guy, man.
Yeah, man.
From Earth, Wind & Fire, like he is the man, and people don't understand how he branched. Like, and I'm a little older than you, and he branched off in the 80s when he was doing some solo stuff, and he even did a duet with Philip Collins. You know what I mean? Easy Lover. That's still one of my favorite songs of all time. But Earth, Wind & Fire is the be all end all for me in regards to just the raw musicianship throughout the entire band.
Baddest band in the land, man.
Indeed. So I did my research, and I saw where you auditioned for Woodbridge Idol, and you also performed with New Jersey Pack. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start off with Woodbridge Idol. So basically, I went to school out in Woodbridge, and there was a competition between I believe it was like three high schools that was out there in that township, and basically we're just competing against other artists, and I made it to the finals. I wound up singing one of my original songs, and also Music Soul Child, Don't Change, and it was pretty interesting because that was my first time, actually doing some type of, huge competition where I had to, pretty much battle against other people.
Right.
So it was pretty cool. Of course, I did the talent shows and stuff like that, but I think that felt like the actual American Idol itself. You get what I'm saying? Actually challenged me to, study music and certain things like that. And then also, while I was in school, I was going to school in North New Jersey. It was New Jersey. It was the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, and it was the summer youth workshop. And pretty much we had an audition to get into the school. I majored in singing performance. We also took acting classes. We also took modern dance, which is somewhat like ballet. And it was a lot of different kids my age, and a lot of people actually made it pretty big off of just going to that performing arts school. There's a few different people that that's on Broadway plays. Some people that's big movie stars. And it was actually something that challenged us as a kid to just actually get out there and just learn the whole entire performing in arts.
Right. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, this just really goes to show you how important, the arts in our schools are, because I mean, think about planting the seeds in our kids early when you talk about having these things available to them. When you talk about these different type of programs, whether it's whether it's music or whether it's dance, or to your point, obviously with acting, people on Broadway and people doing some incredible things. It's incredible that sometimes you hear about some of these school districts, they're trying to take the arts away, and I'm just like, don't do that. When you have these type of avenues that's available for kids, you never know who and what they can become. So that's I'm proud of you for taking part of that.
What's crazy? That is something I'm actually big for, and if you're listening to this, if you have a kid that is, that's you have a kid that's interested in things, make sure that you invest in them, because if you start them as a kid, guess what? When they get a little bit older, it's going to do nothing but, work out for them. Nowadays you can make it big off of just being a big superstar on TikTok,
Right.
Dancing and singing and whatever it is, you can really do it, so invest in your kids, man. Very important.
Yes, indeed. So let's move forward now. So talk about when you decided to say, hey, I want to become a recording artist, and what led into that?
Oh man, I had just moved to Woodbridge, man, and I didn't know anybody from there. All my family's from North Jersey, and to be honest with you, I was like, Mom, Dad, I want to start writing and producing music. And it's funny because I had just got one of my friends from Plainfield had just moved to Woodbridge, right?
Okay.
And we were actually on we were outside just relaxing, just chilling. And he was like, yo, you want to record a song? I'm like, yo, how are we gonna record a song? Next thing you know, he actually was dubbing tapes.
Right.
And we was recording off of a microphone in a boombox. One of those karaoke boxes, man. Yeah. So I had just basically we started recording off of there.
Right.
And I also, my mom for Christmas she bought me and my brother, our first microphone and audio box. Reasons program. I think when we was recording, it was like Adobe Audition. And we actually started recording music after that, and that was one of the things that I'm glad that my parents did, because, instead of being out in the street, I was home making music. You get what I'm saying? So it kept me focused. It kept me out of the way. And I was up all night, man, just making music each and every day versus being in the streets.
Yeah, that's very important, especially where we come from. It's super important, is making sure that you got your kids, on the right path. You know what I mean? Because one false move and it can go left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's super, super important. So while you were embarking on that journey early on, I know you had mentioned, your dad. Who were some of your mentors, including your dad, that was getting you onto that path as far as getting into the industry?
Oh man. Everyone that my dad worked with, let me start off like this. My grandfather, he was one of my biggest influences, man. My grandfather, I would say LT Brown, Josh Milan, Louis Vega, Kenny Dope, artists like that. They were like, I treat them like they're my uncles, and I studied them, and I owe it to my father. I stood to my father's side, man. Like as a kid, growing up, I used to cry, man, when I couldn't go to a show. I used to
Mm,
cry when he used to go on tour. You get what I'm
yeah.
saying? I used to want to be around my father because I was just learning so much. And me and my brother, man, we stuck together through all of that. And I think that made us think a little bit different now that we are deeper into the music industry, you know?
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that's it.
Let's talk about Mr. Pocket for just a second. And
Okay.
we've talked about him before, drummer and everything. So talk about, you know, the bands he was in and just
Mhm.
his over and the things that he's done.
So my father has recorded, records for Louis Vega, Raheem Devon, Mr. Vegas, and he's worked with artists from Gloria Gaynor
Hmm.
to Louis Vega and different artists like that, whatever. And my dad, he also like in his earlier life, he was playing drums for a lot of different big gospel artists around New Jersey and. Yeah, man. Like my father, he's just been in the industry, man, and he's one of those people where I look up to a lot. Wanted to study him, wanted to be him. You know, and he taught me everything I need to know about this game.
Yeah, super important for sure. Present fathers, man. Big ups to
Yeah,
Mr.
man.
Pocket. And I know,
Yes.
and just reading, like I said, just doing my homework and just reading up on you. I know some of your inspirations. You mentioned one of them, Josh Milan, but you also mentioned Fantasia, Stevie Wonder,
Mm,
Timbaland,
yeah.
Usher. Talk about those artists for a second, as far as some of their art, some of their work that they've done that really influenced you, the artist.
Yeah, so Usher, I'm gonna speak on Usher specifically, man. When I
Mm-hmm.
was a kid, man, I literally used to want to be Usher so bad, bro. I used to walk out the room after doing like a little performance with my cousins. We had like a little band going on. I
Yeah.
used to always change my outfits, put a lot of cocoa butter on my face. They're like, "Yo, you done changed your outfit. You done got fully dressed to perform." You get what I'm saying? So Usher was like one of those big influences for me, man.
Hmm.
And Fantasia, um, that's literally like someone that I enjoy her performance.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Every time that she performs, she gives a show.
Yes, indeed.
And she gives her all. If you ever been to a concert, she's gonna take her shoes off because she's gonna give you the show that you wanted. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And me as an artist, that's what I would want to be like. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? So those are two artists right there that I definitely studied a lot growing up, man.
So on the journey though, and again, this is what we again as artists, as creatives, we have this thing called the journey. Everyone has their own road that they're traveling on. What were some of the challenges, starting out the gate that you faced as a recording artist
And when you mean challenges, what do you mean?
in general, whether it's as far as getting information, in regards to how do you distribute and that type of thing, or people you may have met that have been like, I don't know, some of those challenges.
Well, I could say one of the challenges that I've faced is, contracts. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you work with people, you want to make sure that you have contracts, and that's one of the lessons that I've learned in this game is that all people, everyone is not going to always do good business. You
Indeed.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and that is definitely one of those challenges where I feel like that changed me and changed how I move. Everything
Mm-hmm.
that I do now, a lot of it is it's contracts. And the next you don't want to have any kind of issues with people over money. You get what I'm saying? So
Indeed.
or being there on time or certain things like that. So that's definitely important. Um, Other than that, I would say one of the other challenges is when you're independent, man. Everything comes out of your pocket.
Yes,
You know,
indeed.
and we have to find ways. We have to find ways to make it work. So I would say those are the top two right there.
As a fellow artist, bro, I hear everything you're saying, because like when you're
Yeah.
independent, again, you're free of the as far as the label, as far as the control aspect. But
Hmm.
on the flip side, it's like, well, damn, I have to put out everything myself. Everything is coming out of me. So
Yes.
I totally understand what you mean. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it's like I would rather do it this way and become
Mm-hmm.
successful rather than be cookie cutter, the stuff that you see out there for sure. I totally get it.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I definitely get that as well, man. Like it's hard,
It's
but
very, very hard.
we gotta keep pushing. There's ways around it, man.
It is.
There's definitely ways around it, and you can do all things, man. So, if anybody is an independent artist or whatever you do, don't ever give up. And that's one of my mottos right there, man. Like, don't ever give up because it might get hard, might get challenging, but you could do all things through Christ that strengthens you, bro. For real.
Yes, indeed. Philippians 4:13, sir. Yes, indeed.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's talk about the team, particular to a guy that we both know happens to be your brother, Pepe Gonzalez, and he's been very instrumental being more or less behind the scenes. So talk about his role in regards to the brand Lamar Tyree.
Well, my brother's role is pretty simple, man. And that's my team is not big. It's me and him. And my brother pretty much handles that manager role. He's the person that helps me create when I'm recording all of this, this music. My brother is that person that's with me 100%. When I don't do records with him, it's not right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my brother's he's a collaborator. He's a creator with me. And he's definitely my manager as well. And he tells me, he's honest with me. When I'm recording music or writing music, that don't sound right. We need to do this. You get what I'm saying? He also helps me write. He also helps me produce. It's like a Bonnie and Clyde type situation, but that's my brother. You get what I'm saying? So me and my brother stuck together through all my life, man. We used to carry my dad's drums in the house every single day, bro. I mean, every single day, my dad would wake us up 3-4 o'clock after a gig, and he's like, "Oh, we gotta get the drums out. We gotta get the drums out of the car." We were sitting there side by side, just doing that, man. And that's my dog, man, for real.
Ever since I met you two about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's always been you two.
Always
inseparable. You know what I mean?
Always.
Yes, indeed. So
always. And it's funny, and didn't mean to cut you off, right?
No. Go ahead.
You're right about that. It's always been me and my brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's my homie, man. Like, we did everything. Marching band. We was in a marching band together. You know what I'm saying? We was in choirs together. We was in bands together. Everything we did it together, man. So big respect to Pepe.
For sure, man. Big shout out to Pepe. So the first record that I heard from you was Special. And I remember hearing this for the very first time when it came out. And I remember when I first heard it, I said, and you remember, you're about to laugh when I tell you this. I said, bro, it gave me the I'll Be Sure Heavy D vibe from Somebody For Me. When I first heard the keys, and I said, "Ooh!" It was almost like nostalgia, but it's the music we need.
Right.
Talk about the beginning of putting that piece together, because I love the video. At the when you and the girl, you're at the carnival and everything. You're winning prizes and that type of stuff. Just a fun day you're telling this story about how this girl is special to you. So talk about putting the music video together, putting the song together, and how this became a masterpiece for you.
Wow. So this is crazy because this is the first interview I'm actually talking about this, man.
Okay.
Special was one of those records that it was a record that I produced, I wrote. Creating this, I just wanted to make sure I let, that special person know that she is actually special to me. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
When it came to the writing process, I just was thinking about, my situation, what I've been through and what other people been through and try to relate to people as much as possible,
Right.
When it came to making the music for it, actually the production side, the drums was not in there. It was just the piano part and the synthesizers or certain things like that.
Okay.
And it was just that sound. Like when I heard that sound, I was like, oh man, I got to go in this direction right here, man.
Right.
And Special was actually one of those records where a lot of people love it. And I'm like, wow, I did that years ago. Y'all still like that? Yes. You get what I'm saying? So I knew that not only the song was talking about someone being special, but that song was special to a lot of people as well.
Yeah, man. And you hit on something very, very important. I think a lot of artists miss the boat on, and that's relating to people. because when you write for the people, you know what I mean? And I'm not talking about an uplifting song or something, but just something that everyday people can understand and relate to. Relationships, you know, you're going through your ups and downs. Well, you trying to make that special lady or that special someone feel special. You know what I mean? That, like, in my mind, I'm like, just me and my one and only. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that could be a song that could bring a couple together even stronger. So when you're putting content out there, music especially, with these type of subject matters, I think that's one of the things that's really missing in the music industry as a whole.
I agree.
Just the basics of what R&B, especially in the R&B space, is about. Think about the stuff that we grew up on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mentioned Al B. Sure. Al B. Sure was him. You know what I mean? People, for a lot of you know, the youngsters that might be listening to this podcast right now, please understand, Al B. Sure was that dude. I mean, think about the Uptown Records, a roster during that time.
Right.
And Jodeci and Mary J. Blige and Heavy D, you know what I mean? So that was a roster of people, and they were putting out the New Jack Swing, and that's what I was explaining to you. I said that remind me of some New Jack Swing from the late 80s, early 90s, because that was just some incredible stuff.
Right. It was passionate. It was meaning behind, you know, the music that was, you know, being put out. You know, when Teddy Riley, when Teddy Pendergrass said, "Turn off them lights, turn off the lights," them damn lights was turned off. You get what I'm saying? Turn them off.
Turn them off.
You know, and also, you know, it just hit different, man. And that's what I want to do. I want to make music for everyone. And when I do make music, I want to make it, you know, so people can actually feel it. They can actually dance to it, relate to it. You get what I'm saying? So I am big off of that type of stuff, man.
This episode of the D-Lew Podcast is brought to you by Goalie Nutrition. As someone who's used Goalie for quite some time, I can tell you that they're not only very good, but they're very beneficial. My favorite are the Super Green Gummies. The Super Green Gummies are uniquely crafted with a spectrum of essential nutrients such as vitamins A, B12, folic acid, and thiamine. It supports a healthy liver function, healthy nervous and immune system, digestive health, a boost to your metabolism, and overall health and well-being. There are no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or colors from artificial sources. They're vegan-friendly, gluten-free, and gelatin-free. All loyal listeners of the D-Lew Podcast get a special 10% discount at checkout. Go to goalie.com, use promo code DLEW. That's goalie.com, use promo code DLEW. Indeed. So let's do it. Obviously, we're here for the obvious, and that's your latest album. Yes. My Name Is Lamar Tyree. And let me just say this. I just wanted to highlight a couple of my favorites, because just as a music fan, but I put myself as a fan first before an artist, because I'm still a fan of music, right? When I heard track number 2, My Name Is, that was just like, okay, you're letting the world know who you are, and that's what the first thing they should be hearing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then there's the Netflix and Chill. We already know what it is. Oshana, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. and nostalgic music. And when when you was mentioning artists in the nostalgic music track, and it just put me in the mind, because whenever I listen to music, I'm a very visual person, and I'm thinking about where I am, like listening to a certain song, where it's present day or back in the day, and it's just like, man, this was some really, really, really good stuff. And talk about, for the entire album, as far as producers you may have worked with, songwriters, etc., about how you put this entire masterpiece together that is My Name Is Lamar Tyree.
So far as producers go, you know, I always get a list of email filled with different records. And, you know, when it came to the album, I wanted to make sure that I was me. You get what I'm saying? This was a project that I've been working on for some years now. I didn't want to rush and put it out there.
Bro, can I just interrupt you for just a second? I swear to you right now, when I was listening to the album, when I first heard it, I said, this really sounded like he took his time
Mm-hmm.
with it. Those are I kid you, no joke.
Yeah,
I literally said that to myself. I said, he literally took his time, because to put out tracks like this
Mm-hmm.
that you did, and to be able to have a little bit of the similarities, but there's also the differences between all the tracks. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this is something you just don't do in 2 or 3 months. Like, no,
Yeah.
this is something that you have to do over a long period of time to make sure that everything coincides with the other. And it literally felt like a DJ. This was in a DJ set almost, it felt like. But
Wow.
it was under one artist. I kid you not. This is no BS.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like the minute you said it, I said, yep. I said, he had to take his time with this.
I needed to hear that. And it's a blessing, to hear that from not just one person, a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I wanted to. I wanted to hear that. I really love this. I really enjoy it. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm passionate. I'm passionate about my career and my craft, and you know, it means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to the album, it's like I wanted people to know my entire journey.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? When you hear me as an artist, right? From listening to this album, you're gonna say, "Hey, listen, Lamar Tyree doesn't, just listen to R&B music. He likes to step outside the box. He likes to make himself uncomfortable. You get what I'm saying? Tapping into different genres of music.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? From and giving that R&B sound from the old school to the new school, and and having making music for everyone. You get what I'm saying? And I can take this song and I can put this on this set and put this on that playlist, and you get what I'm saying? I can play this at the family reunion, and I can play this, when I'm with my girl. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted everyone to really take this body of work and
Right.
put it in places. You get what I'm saying? And that's why I told the story from, how I started. You get what I'm saying? And then I also, took it to another level. Listen, man, you got to take your time, and don't, like, I think that nowadays a lot of things are rushed. A lot of things, is fast paced. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They won't listen to a video for 2 minutes. They'd rather listen to it for 30 seconds. You get what I'm saying? I didn't want to rush with this project, and I'm
No.
glad that I took my time, because I feel like we have one in the books.
Yeah, and I mean, and I talked to him because my nephew's also an artist too. Shout out to A.O. Royale. He and we talk all the time. I mean, although we're 10 years apart, we're like brothers almost. And one of the things I explained to him a lot, I said, you know what? I said, is as much as you want to put out rapid projects, I said, people are going to get like after a while, because you're constantly there, rather than really taking your time with it, and then boom, now you got a masterpiece on your hands. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I totally understand exactly what you're saying. And I think a lot of times with the advent of technology that we have today, where people can literally just, produce a song or whatever and put it out on SoundCloud or whichever distributing. And this is no shade to SoundCloud. I think SoundCloud is a really, really good tool for a lot of independent artists that are out there. So huge shout out to SoundCloud. But I think at the same time, because of that, it's like, oh, let me just rush this out real quick. Let me just rush this out.
Yes.
And it's like, that's not really honing the craft, because there could be some things that you could be like, you know what, I'm missing a hi-hat here, or I'm missing a chord here. Maybe I could have put a trumpet sound here, or whatever it is that the song could have called for, but you wanted to rush because you're trying to compete with this and that. And my attitude is, I'm just competing with one person, and that's me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the person when I look in the mirror, that's the person I'm competing with every day, because what Lamar Tyree does is what Lamar Tyree does. What any other artist from wherever they are, that's what they do, and that's what, and they're good at that, and let them be good at that. Everyone's journey is their own journey.
It is.
So so don't, and to any artist out there, don't rush. Take your time. And like I said, when I first listened to the album, and I had an advanced copy, by the way. I had to let everybody know I had an advanced copy. And no. That was
well.
No. But the point is, just listening to it, I said, Tyree, this wasn't just a couple of months. No, it couldn't have been, especially for all of from a production standpoint. Something like that doesn't happen that quickly. But
yeah,
the Oshana music video, fun. It looks fun. Miami vibes, you know what I mean? Afrobeat, the whole nine. So talk about taking your talents to South Beach, so to speak, and just bringing and just, creating a mood, creating a moment for Oshana music video.
That video right there is probably one of my best bodies of work so far. What I can say is we had discussion. We was like, where the hell can we shoot this video at? We was actually going to go to Jamaica. Yeah, we was actually going to shoot this in Jamaica. And then we was like, okay, it's COVID. Everything is shut down.
Right.
Certain things like that. Where else do you think is beautiful, man? Miami. You got the palm trees. You got the water. You got people having a great time. You got the beach, you got the good food, stuff like that. So we wanted to take it to Miami, and we wanted to make sure it was done right. We wasn't shooting this damn video at Seaside Heights, bro. It would not be the same. It won't be the same at all.
No. We're not going to Club Karma now.
Right. Oh man.
No.
And it was, but I think that it was perfect that we just shot it there in Miami, Ocean Drive. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was just the perfect vibe, for that record. It's a feel-good record. It's something that's going to make you dance, and you can play it all around. It fits different genres. You get what I'm saying? It fits all different, people, and and I feel like that one record right there is something special to me, and I'm glad that we were able to put it out. I'm glad that we were able to get some visuals for it, because, now people can actually see and actually put everything together.
Right. So if a total stranger comes up to you and they say, hey, hey, what's your name? And you tell them your name, and they ask you what your musical style is. How would you be able to explain to a total stranger what Lamar Tyree's style is?
A little bit of everything.
Okay, talk about it.
You're not going. I don't want to ever get put in a box like I'm just an R&B singer.
Right.
I do R&B, house, gospel, country, rock, blues, jazz. So I have a unique style. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna hear different things, and I don't want people just to say, "Hey, listen, you can only do R&B music." Lamar Tyree does everything. You get what I'm saying? And that's just simple. I don't want to be put in a box. I want to be unique, different, and I want to, tap into, making music for everyone, So to sit back, relax, close your eyes, and go on this journey with me,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's the best advice that anyone's giving you in the industry?
Wow, there's a lot, and I don't think I have just one. But I'm gonna break it down. Copyright your music. I think that's one of the most important, advice that people gave me. Make sure that you copyright your music. Just never know. People can, hey, listen to the song. It's not copyrighted, and then next you hear a song on the radio, and then boom, that's your record. That's your hit record. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. Staying focused and never give up. We all face challenges through, daily, and being in the music industry, it can get real dark sometimes, where you feel like, oh my God, nobody's listening to my music. Nobody's buying my music and stuff like that. Stay focused. Don't give up. You got to remember that there's millions and billions of people that's out here that's doing that same thing. But, you got to work hard towards what you want, what you really want, And I think that another advice that I've gotten is do it yourself. And when it comes to that, right? You're paying, think about it like this, right? you're paying an engineer at a different studio to record you for 3 hours, right?
Right.
Or you're paying a producer to make your record. You get what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. You're paying that person. That it takes a lot of money to do that. You get what I'm
Yes,
saying?
indeed.
So I
Yeah.
always encourage people like artists to actually invest in yourself. I started recording, at home. You get what I'm saying? I was out there spending a lot of money on studio time and paying for producers and certain things like that. Guess what I'm doing now? I'm now writing, producing. You get what I'm saying? And I'm saving money, from going to other people's studios to actually having my own studio. And I think that, when it comes to being creative and making music and different things like that, you could be creative right here at your house and save your money in your pocket so you can invest that on promotion. You can invest that on, trying to shop your music to different playlists and movies and certain things like that. Whatever you need as an artist, you can actually use that money to do that. So that's very important. And I feel like if you're listening to this, right now, make sure you invest in yourself. You get what I'm saying? Don't spend money, going to other studios. You can easily get a computer, you can easily get a keyboard, you can easily get a microphone and an M audio box, less than like $400 or $500, and actually start recording your music at home.
Get an
So
interface and everything. And
yeah,
trust
man.
me, I totally exactly what you mean. Now, let's get away from music for a little bit. Let's talk about the Fat Boys Cartel. Let's talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit. And how did that all come to be, that particular brand?
Well, shout out to Pepe. This was an idea he brought to me. And we've been, shopping it around. It is a brand, we're doing, clothing and it's really just me and my brother. We two fat boys right here. You get what I'm saying? And shout out to the plus size people, man. Because we need love too, man. I'm getting tired of going on to, different sites trying to shop for clothes. And guess what? We can't find our size there. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? And no offense to the skinny dudes, but hey, listen, we need love too. You get what I'm saying? So we are actually branding and we're actually getting ready to, release some different things, man, so we can, actually cater to not just the skinny people or the big people. Listen, we running this too. You know what I'm saying? We trying to build right now, man. So it's definitely more merch is coming soon, and it's just me and my brothers just collaborating and having fun, man. We for the people.
Yes, indeed. Collaborations. I know you did a collaboration with Roddy. I hope I'm saying this person's name's right.
Mm-hmm.
Suda Exity Juice.
Yeah.
And when in the creative process, because I know everyone has a different flow on how they do it when they collab. How does Lamar Tyree approach the collaboration process with another artist?
So a lot of times when it comes to collaboration, I like to hear it first. You get what I'm saying? When I listen to artists, I like to, just pay attention to like delivery and their approach to different records. And I like to like for specifically the Rush record. I heard Juice on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Roddy on Turn Up. I heard Roddy on What I Need. You get what I'm saying? And I
Mm-hmm.
always like to visualize people on certain records. So that's how I think about it. I like to visualize them on a record. I can hear Roddy on this one right here with his delivery, his approach. You get what I'm saying?
Right,
Very
right.
creative, and he can switch up his style and certain things like that. I have an ear. A lot of people don't know, but I'm a musician first. I play the drums, play keys, and I just when it comes to music, I like to piece it all together. You get what I'm saying? From listening to the drums, the hi hats, the keys, and the strings and certain things like that. I like to piece it all together, and you got to trust your ear first. So that's how I always pick my features.
All right. And before we get out of here, any other future projects that's on the table right now for Lamar Tyree?
Ooh, so I have some future projects coming.
Mhm.
Um, can't really talk too much on it right now, but I do have some, I'm tapping into different genres. So I definitely have a couple of house records coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I have some Jersey club records that's coming out as well. I'm working on a project right now that should possibly be out in a few months, maybe like a small EP. And I've been, just working on trying to, I'm working on trying to get placements, man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, like movies and, commercials and things like that. So I'm out here just working, you know. Only thing I can say is God is good, and he's keeping me, keeping my head up and pointing me in that right direction, man. So, a lot more from Lamar Tyree. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, where can the people find you? A social media, website, YouTube, everything. Where can they find you?
So Instagram is Lamar_Tyree Music. Any platform you could just type in Lamar Tyree, and all of my music and all of my, social media platforms will come up that way.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Lamar Tyree, again, I know this has been a long time coming, and I'm glad, we were able to talk about all aspects of your career thus far. Nothing but the best for you and all you continue to do in the world of music and everything else that comes your way, man. And I look forward to definitely talking to you somewhere down the road real soon.
Thank you, bro. And I appreciate you taking the time out to, talk to me about, different things that I've been through in my musical career. I appreciate, people that, focus on independent artists as well. And listen, if you don't got the album, it's out right now on all major platforms. Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you go, you will find, my new album and any kind of music that I've been on. And we got to do a record one day too, man. So let's make it happen.
Absolutely, man. Well, again, the Jersey connection, baby. Let's get
you
it going.
already know, man.
Absolutely,
know,
man. Yes, indeed, man. All right, man. Look forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Well, that does it for this week's edition of the D-Lew Podcast. Again, I want to thank Lamar Tyree for taking the time out of his busy schedule to, come onto the show and talk about his career and where he is and where he's headed. And best wishes to him on his journey. But as for me, this Saturday, you can catch me at ECWA Pro Wrestling out at the Jersey Dugout in Morganville, New Jersey. Tickets are on sale now. You can go to ecwawrestling.com. You can see matches such as Darius Carter defending the ECWA Championship against the challenger and the legend, Mr. Ooh La La. LA then defends the ECWA Legacy Championship against Travis Lee. We have the Goons taking on the Rock and Roll Revival, and so much more. Again, you can get your tickets at ecwawrestling.com. Don't forget, guys, Espacion featuring Angie Stars is on all platforms. You can stream it on all platforms. You can download it and purchase it at Amazon MP3 as well as iTunes. The music video you can see on YouTube/Vivo, Apple Music, and Tidal. Okay, make sure you check that out. In addition to all my social media, with the exception of Facebook, all of my social media platforms that I'm on, okay, you can reach it at The Real DT Lew. Facebook is Derrick T. Lewis official page. You can go on to my store where I sell just t-shirts and hoodies for right now, shop.derricktlewis.com. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe. No matter which platform that you're on listening to this podcast today, make sure that you get and hit the subscribe button. It's real easy to do, so you can get all new content each and every time there is new content available. And on Apple Podcasts, you can also give that 5-star review as well. Well, I'm going to get out of here, and as I always say, no matter what it is that you do in life, always remember to make it count. See you next time.